hello there. You caught me when I was brushing up on some history. So, first things first, all of my October reviews are going to be in costume. And if anybody out there knows what the costume is, comment and kudos to you. So this one's going to be on this third and fourth episodes of the Michael J. Fox Show. I am also probably going to be doing American Horror Story this time around. And this October I'm in a costume, and this is one of my favorite shows, especially around Halloween. So it's a great seasonal show to do, and gives me a little more to do than just one show. But anyway, this one's on Michael J. Fox. Now the show is getting a lot better. With the first two episodes, I was fairly impressed. But at the same time, there were a lot of iffy things about it. Michael was great, and he's still great. But the rest of the family, they lacked a lot. They weren't near as good. And it wasn't just that Fox overpowered them so much. That definitely didn't help. But at the same time, they really weren't that good to begin with. Now they are improving. The son, I still don't really like. He really has had too many funny moments. But at least the rest of the family are coming up and they're getting better. They're still not great. They're still not, something you just have to watch. And Michael still overshadows them so much. But they are improving, and because of that, the show is improving, and hasn't yet gone downhill as was afraid it might. Anyway, these reviews aren't going to be that long, because there isn't as much to talk about with these shows, as I've said before. But Michael is still doing so well with his role. He still has Parkinson's and everything, so he still shakes a lot. But there aren't as many Parkinson jokes as there were in the first two episodes. And I think that's good, because they're not focusing mainly on that. It's a very strong point of the show, and at least there's some good jokes. But they go past that, and they have delivered other jokes. And there are still a few in there, and it keeps that joke going and going, but it's not overplayed and doesn't become stale. I find when they put the jokes in there that have to deal with Parkinson's, they're well timed, and they come and they go, and it gets on the other jokes. Now, the humor is getting a lot better as well. For instance, and in what I'm going to do with these next reviews, I'm going to mention some things, but they're going to be vague enough to where if you haven't seen the episode, they won't spoil them for you. In last week's episode, one of the funniest points was the sister, well, not sister, but the daughter, her photography and all that led to, and that was great. And then the son and stuff, the little kid, not the big brother, who, like I said, I still don't like. But the younger brother, he's definitely not great. He's getting a little better. Still in the bottom tier for me as family-wise, but all the trouble he was getting into and such like that, and the way he was getting out of it, that was pretty funny. And the situational comedy is a strong point of this show, I believe. It delivers it well. It delivers a lot of conflict, whether it's between the characters or it's situational, they have conflict with, something happens and that leads to conflict. Like one of them is the conflict between Michael and, God, I forgot her name. Susan Jones, I believe it was. No, I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. But in the newest episode, and she used to anchor or do something with Mike, and she left him and deserted him, and he was stuck for days or whatever, and she came back and she's trying to play it up like, she's the hero. And she's the first person to really get strict with Michael and not be nice to him and such. And we really only saw a bit of the conflict in the last episode, but I think that's going to do well. I think that's going to grow and get better, and that's going to lead to better things. We'll see. On the opposite end of that is the girl that's helping out Michael, and she's so crazy about him, always worried about messing up. She's nuts, so. But I find it to be more just really hyper nuts, so just really wants to get things done, just really wants to impress. And I don't believe she goes overboard. Now, maybe you feel that way, maybe you don't. But I really don't feel that she went overboard. So, humor is good, and the conflict is good. And the family, they keep getting better and better. Again, they're not great. They have their moments, and they have moments you just want to slap them. But, like, even the sister, like the wife's sister, Michael's wife's sister, so the kid's aunt, she's getting a little better, and she's just so dumb, but she kind of plays it well. Not great, but, you know, it could be a lot worse. And at this point, I don't really think it's taking away from the show. Maybe it's not adding too much, but at the very bare level, at least it's bearable. At least she's not someone that you see and you're like, oh God, you have to get off screen, you have to get off screen. You know, you're terrible, take these people away. Oh, another thing with the sister that I found pretty funny was the way she ran, and I can't get too much into this without spoiling, but there are some jokes about how she runs. It is actually pretty funny, and she was one of the characters that I just did not like at first. She annoyed the hell out of me, but she is getting better, and you know, everybody's getting better. But still, the strongest thing is Michael J. Fox. And as I said in my last review, to be able to perform so well with Parkinson's disease, to be so funny, and a lot of the great humor comes from him, where it's a line or something he does, it's all well timed, a lot of it is snappy and quick, and even if those lines are written for him, a terrible actor can take great lines and it'd be terrible. You can make the best line in film and TV history ever, but if a bad actor gets it or a bad actress gets it, there's no use to it. But the way he delivers it so quick and great that they're pretty good lines. They're not super amazing or anything, but the way he takes them really helps to bring them up. So overall, I have to say, it's a series that I'm still really enjoying. You know, it's a very heartwarming series, a very feel-good series. Mainly because of Michael. And, you know, you don't really see that too often. You see it here and there, and sometimes it does become cheesy. But in this series, I really don't think it's becoming cheesy. Well, you know, that's it for that one. American Horror Story, I'm probably going to get that shot for the next episode if I can. Later, guys.